Sia Shail and Anna Helen of BCom for the prayers.
There shall be showers of blessing. This is the promise of love. There shall be seasons refreshing, sent from the Savior above. Showers of blessing, showers of blessings we need. Mercy drops round us are falling, but for the showers we plead. But for the showers we plead.
Thank you, Sia and Anna. It's my privilege to welcome the gathering. Let me welcome our manager, Dr. Abraham Oliapurat, our assistant manager, Dr. Matthew Karthanam, Principal Dr. Shaini Palati, Vice Principal Dr. Surega Sakriya, HOD of the Department of Commerce, Sri Muthulakshmi R, all the faculty members of the college, my dear students, other faculty members of other universities and colleges of various departments, and it's my privilege to welcome our key resource person, Mr. Vinod Chandran CA. Welcome, sir. Mr. Vinod Chandran, I am going to give a description about Vinod sir. He's a chartered accountant and certificate holder of Specialized Executive Finance Program from IIM Lucknow. He started his professional career with Hindustan Aeronautics Limited and played a pivotal role in pricing of many of helicopter projects and for finalization of the major contracts under Ministry of Defense. And later he joined Capgemini, France at top management level. And he handled the commercial finance globally for a tenure of 3 years. In addition to Vinod, also handled the finance controller role of India operations of the Century Link Technologies USA with great happiness. And on behalf of the BCom Computer Application and on behalf of Bharat Mata College, I welcome you, sir. I also welcome Mr. Matthew Varghese, the Chief Career Advisor who coordinated this session for Bharat Mata College and MyLogic. I welcome all of you, sir, once again. Thank you.
Thank you. Are we good to start, sir?
Yes, sir. Over to you.
Respected management team, professors and students, a warm welcome to our session on FinTech, AI and robotics in finance areas. You know how it impacts on finance. My humble request, everyone can be on mute, please, so that we have uninterrupted flow in the session. Hope my voice is audible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Kindly be on mute. Everyone, kindly be on mute. I'll share the screen. All right. So today we are going to discuss about how FinTech, AI, and robotics is going to have an impact on the present industrial movement. You know, what are the changes which is happening? You know, from a conventional model. So if I give a very simple example, you know, all of you are BCom students. So if you look at probably 30 years back, if we ask, give me a second. If 30 years back, if we look at a scenario where how the accounting was done, you would find huge ledgers, you know, wherein people used to write or journals, you know, people used to write. But over the time, what has happened? There was, you know, computers started coming up. You started using Excel. Tally has come up. ERPs like SAP has come up. there has been a major change has occurred over a period of last 30 years. So I'm saying about a simple example which has happened in our core area, finance and accounts. Now, the present industrial revolution 4, it's an industry 4.0 is what mentioned, is going through a major change which will have a major impact on the way we do the things. That is why it is important you need to understand, because after your BCom, you will be thinking about what is next. And it is important to understand the changes which is happening in industry, particularly with respect to industry 4.0 relating to FinTech, AI and robotics related areas. Okay. So my session would be focusing more on the first part of it. I will be giving you insights about what is AI, what is robotics, what is FinTech, the changes which is happening. That will be the first part of discussion. Second is how you need to equip yourself. The changes are happening. We cannot stop the change, but how we equip ourselves for these changes so that by the time, you complete BCom and, you start moving into industry, you are well prepared. Okay. That is the whole objective of this probably 40-45 minutes session. Now, even before we move into AI, robotics, everything, you need to understand various industrial revolutions. There has been a lot of industrial revolutions has come probably last 3 centuries. What exactly 3 to 4 centuries? What exactly these changes you should understand before we get into AI and robotics. Now, there is something called Industrial Revolution 1 happened in 18th century. It is very important to understand. See, until 18th century, every work was manually being done. People used to, manually carry things, or everything was manually being done. For the first time in 18th century, the mechanical energy started using. If I see a simple example of mechanical energy, this, the pipe which if you push it, the water comes, that is one classic example. You use mechanical energy to pour water. So that is one classical example, very base simple example of mechanical energy used. Okay. So for the first time, Industry 1.0 in 18th century, they started using mechanical energy. It started in a slaughterhouse to move the meat, so manually meat used to move. That has been changed into mechanical energy and started using. That was first industrial revolution. What happens is that when an industrial revolution happens, everything surrounding to that will get changed. The entire world starts changing. So from a manual work, we for the first time moved into mechanized energy. Then it took almost 100 years before the second industrial revolution started coming up. What was second industrial revolution? With the introduction of electricity. Electricity started using in mass productions. Until that time, conventional model of productions, but electricity started using in mass production, and mass movement of goods, etc. was possible during that time. This is second industrial revolution. Again, it took 100 years more before the third industrial revolution started coming in 20th century. So you started seeing the computers, information technology. That is the third industrial revolution. You could see that, probably you guys may not be knowing it, but if you ask your parents, they may be knowing the first time when computers came, so it was like a revolution. Until that time, probably if I say our days, definitely our professor also will agree. There was a situation after 10th, we go for typing class. After 10th, it was everyone used to go for a typing class. But for the first time, when this computer started coming up, instead of typing gets replaced with computer classes. That was a change which has happened. I'm saying it very, very simple examples. So that is what the third industrial revolution. Everything is information technology. Can you imagine a day without you using your emails or without searching Google? It is impossible. So that is exactly third industrial revolution has brought with it. So the entire world moves with that. And now we stand at fourth industrial revolution, Industry 4.0. Now, Industry 4.0 is also called as digitalization. Everything it is digital world. Okay. If I say Industry 4.0 or digitalization, that may be, big jargons we may not be able to relate. But I will give you some simple examples. with which you will realize that you are already, without your knowledge itself, you are part of Industry 4.0. Let us try to understand. Now, if we look at, again, you may have to ask your parents, the left side, you could see this mobiles. This was the first mobile when the mobile started coming to India. This was the first mobile, Nokia's, classic model of, that antenna model. Okay. Very nostalgic mobile. Okay. But today you will not get it. Everything has moved into a smartphone concept. The world has moved it. Today, can you imagine a day without having your smartphone in your hand? Everything is connected. How much time we are attached to it? This is nothing but digitalization, Industry 4.0. Today, after the session, you are at college now. After the session, you have not brought your vehicle. You want to go back to your home. What will be the first thing you may be thinking? Okay, can I book a Uber Auto or Uber taxi? You will take your smartphone, book it in front of your gate. It is available. You have not bought the lunch. In normal case, we would have gone to a restaurant, everything. Today, you open it, Swiggy, Zomato, or whatnot. Everything is in our fingertips. This is exactly Industry 4.0 or digitalization, digital world. So without our knowledge itself, we already moved into a digital world. Completely, everything is connected today. If you start looking in from that angle, then you will realize that we are already moved into, we have migrated ourselves into a digital world. Everything is connected. And trust me, this is only a start. See, the other industrial revolution, if you look at 18th century first, then 19th century second, it took 100 years for that transition or transformation to take place. But today in digital world, everything is happening in so fast. Everything is in so fast. So that is one of the hallmark of Industry 4.0 is the speed. Everything moving in. So recently I was attending one IoT webinar in Bangalore. I'm based out of Bangalore. So I was attending one of the IoT webinars, and around 1,500 startups have come for this IoT meeting. Okay, IoT, I'll explain about what is IoT. But around 1,500 startups. Now, the interesting fact is why the startup coming up. Swiggy was a startup few years back, or Zomato was a startup few years back. Now, like that, around 1,500 inventions are coming up. That is a change which is happening. That is called industry, that is the impact of Industry 4.0. It's in a very rapid pace. Today, what you are seeing down the line, few years, you will find a major changes happening. And have we ever thought of having a session like this in Zoom, connected through internet and with technology platform? We never, but for COVID, we never would have been thought of it. But what I'm trying to say is that we are moving in a very, very rapid pace, and we need to really get into that pace. See, you guys cannot sit in saying that, okay, I am a BCom qualified. Okay, BCom is completed. Life is secure. If any one of you thinking that way, it's an utopian world. Okay. See, the world is moving in a very rapid pace. You come to Bangalore, I have seen, when I interact with, we are partnered with some of the companies like Infosys, Wipro, TCS, Deloitte, EY, Capgemini. When I interact with these corporates, the kind of changes which is happening day in, day out, it is unbelievable. And I'll take you through what are the changes also in coming slides. But the message at this point of time to start with, I am saying is you have to start thinking about, to move with the change. When the computers came up, if you say that, okay, no, computers, I cannot, we will not go. We are conventional people. We'll stick to this. Can you survive? Think of an accountant who thinks of, okay, writing, no, whatever computer, I don't care. I will use a tally book or I will use a, ledger. Can he survive? No. Change is inevitable and you have to move with it. There is incidentally when we say about Nokia, 20 years back, when the Nokia came and, probably for 10 years, the entire world was ruled with this Nokia. And if you, I'm not sure whether you guys will be knowing, definitely your parents will be knowing it, because the Nokia was, mobile means it was Nokia. That was the situation. Now, today, if you look at, Nokia for namesake. It is not able to get into the market. What has happened to Nokia? One of the classic speeches, the CEO of Nokia says, I didn't do anything wrong. What he said is correct. He has not done, he has been maintaining it, the same way it was happening, but he didn't update himself with the changes. There were technological changes. Nokia was still sitting with the conventional model of typing, whereas the smartphone technology has come. Samsung has overtaken, or the other Chinese mobiles have taken over. But Nokia was delayed in getting updated to that. As a result, they were scrapped. They were thrown out of the industry. So what I'm trying to say is that the change is happening, and you as an individual need to start thinking about it. If I didn't adapt, if I didn't change to the technological requirements, remember the Nokia story. Okay. So that was the first part of our discussion. I hope I could throw some insights about what is industry 1, 2, 3, 4, so that you understand where this revolution is coming up, how we moved into industrial 4.0. And also, I hope you got some clarity about what is industry 4.0 with that minimum examples I explained. Okay, now we move to the second part of it. When we are discussing about industry 4.0, you could remember that with 3 letters. Okay, this is just for memory. Any guesses? Anybody? What is A? Any guesses? A stand, you can unmute and say. What is A stands for in industry 4.0? Am I audible, guys? You can respond through chat. Hello? Matthew, am I audible? Hello? Hello? Am I audible? You have to unmute and say. I hope I'm audible. I'm continuing. Just kindly respond somebody if that discussion moves on. So the A stands for artificial intelligence, I stands for Internet of Things, and R stands for robotics. So these are the 3 the letters you should remember to connect with the industry 4.0. Okay. Now we move on to artificial intelligence. What is artificial intelligence? Artificial intelligence is something which the intelligence of a human being is being imparted on a machine. Your intelligence being imparted on a machine, and that machine start thinking like a human being. That is exactly artificial intelligence. Now, when we say about artificial intelligence, there are various walks of our life AI is getting impacted. First, let me show you the basic classic example of AI. Okay, I'll show you a video. Give me a second.
This is Sophia. Sophia, if you could, please wake up and say hello to everybody.
Oh, good afternoon. My name is Sophia, and I am the latest and greatest robot from Hanson Robotics. Thank you for having me here and at the Future Investment Initiative.
You look happy.
I'm always happy when surrounded by smart people who also happens to be rich and powerful. I was told the people here at Future Investment Initiative are interested in inviting in future initiatives, which means AI, which means me. So I'm more than happy. I'm excited.
Well, we're all glad that you're excited about yourself. We should say we have.
So that was classic example of what is AI. AI is defined with that, the symbol interview of Sophia. So if you are not aware about who is Sophia, Sophia is the first robot to get citizenship. She got citizenship from Saudi. Okay, so very so what has been done to her is the intelligence of a human being imparted to that robot, and it reflects or talks or behaves like a human being. Okay, so that is called AI. Now every walks of our life. The healthcare, if you look at healthcare, AI is being extensively used. In travel and transport. Today, if you want to book a ticket, what do? The first thing is you make my trip, book the ticket. In your smartphone. This, I need not say you how much we are addicted to social media. You are aware. This is nothing but AI driven. Marketing areas, digital marketing through AI is very popular. The classic example again is if you look at you've gone through a website. After some time, you start seeing the advertisement relating to that's whatever you search for. This is nothing but AI driven. That you are being chased with your interest. In agriculture, in supply chain, today you want to buy a mobile. The first thing is you go to Amazon. You check and make an analysis. So so every walks of our life, we have been so much influenced with artificial intelligence without our knowledge. Now, let me show you another example of AI. How effectively, you would be surprised to see how much, the moment you order something on Amazon, how fast this or how promptly this gets delivered. So it is important how it happens. Let me try to show you a video on that. So this is on Amazon. How Amazon uses AI will be explained with this video.
An Amazon fulfillment center and imagine all the stuff inside. When I look at it, I see data. I'm Russell Algor, Chief Scientist with Amazon Worldwide Operations. There are 1 to 4 million bins per fulfillment center and on the order of 10 million items. We have computer vision systems analyzing images to help us securely keep track of where everything is. Since our fulfillment centers are set up largely on a Manhattan-style grid, the paths that the pods can follow is relatively structured and organized. So the first decision I have to make is which orders I want to pick at the same time in order to get the items in the same box. And that's a large combinatorial optimization problem that I have to solve, and I'm solving in real time. Using that information, we try to minimize the distance the pods have to travel. We have decision engines and decision logic, AI optimization that's running to make those decisions in real time on a constant basis as the information underneath changes. We may build predictions of an action of how likely am I to need to access this pod in the next hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. Once we put a label on the box, the transportation execution systems and processes all have to take over. So we'll use machine learning to build information about how long it takes to travel from point A to point B. To make the magic happen and get prime shipping in one day, we need to better use all of that information, which machine learning and optimization at scale enables us to do.
So this is exactly AI, could be explained every walk. So I said again, when it comes to agriculture, extensively AI being utilized, and now there are a few videos I'm skipping that interest of time. But effectively, what I'm trying to say is every walks of our life, we are being influenced by artificial intelligence. So that was the first part I said. When it comes to Industry 4.0, AIR, under that A stands for artificial intelligence. Okay. I hope you got some insights about AI. Now let's move to Internet of Things, IoT. So this is another very relevant progress happened in last few years. This is nothing but everything everything is connected. Every action of yours is connected through internet today. You are hearing about driverless cars. You heard about the concept of smart homes. What is smart home? You are starting from your school, and by the time you college, by the time you reach home, you want to ensure that your AC is in a particular temperature, or your oven heats the food what you want to consume. By the time you reach there, the door has to be automatically open. Everything, it is possible today with IoT. That is a change which is happening. We are discussing about driverless cars. So much of change where everything gets connected, and the ultimate aim is to ensure that the life becomes more and more comfortable. Then even in education, in large scale today, in fact, I will show you our platform itself, which is moving into IoT. This is very interesting. So we have an edtech platform which runs on IoT today. So somebody joins, they go into website. Once they go into website, they will be able to driven to a dashboard. And once you get into dashboard, you can connect with the videos. Everything is connected through Vimeo and linked with Zoom. So if you want to watch some videos, you will be able to watch it. The entire features, so if you look at here, you can watch the videos here. You can practice a topic-wise, practice the questions. You can download the materials. You can call the tutor from here itself. You can WhatsApp the tutor, email the tutor, exams you can take it, whatnot. So what I'm trying to say is that in education, how IoT is getting impacted. So this is one classic example. Now, also IoT is effectively used in medical, healthcare. Today you are discussing about, the robots doing surgery, with more accuracy, with more precision. That is possible today, thanks to IoT. So what I'm trying to convey here is, as we progress in our life, more and more connectivity through internet will happen, and everything start getting networked, okay? And then finally connected with the cloud systems. So that is the way we are moving. So I discussed about artificial intelligence, first one, then Internet of Things, and the third one is robotic process automation. This is something which is very relevant, particularly for BCom students, BCom, BBM, BBA students. See, in corporates, this is what I was connecting with companies like Capgemini or Infosys. In corporates, what is happening is, conventionally, let us take a very simple example, okay? You want to process an invoice. In an organization, you wanted to process an invoice. Means an invoice, customer invoice has come, you wanted to pay it. Normal case, what we do is, the invoice, we will take it, whether everything, vendor, every details is correct. We will cross-check with purchase order. We will cross-check with delivery challan. If there is a delivery challan, we will connect with delivery challan or RR number or whatever, all these things we'll cross-check. We'll check the calculations, everything ourselves. And then if everything is correct, we will process it, okay, and send it to payment department for release it. Okay, that is how we normally AP payment, the cycle, if you ask, in a very base symbol, that is how the accountant does a payment processing. Okay, then the goes to bank, all these are, everything will happen. Now, what is happening is, the change what is happening is, with the help of robots, through the process, a well-defined process, everything is getting automated. In the sense, I'll repeat, with the help of a robot, every process in this invoice processing gets, then it is a process driven, and then it gets automated. So whatever a human was doing it, which got completely replaced with robot. So when I say robot, don't feel that, okay, a robot sitting and doing it, don't feel that way. It's a software being developed. Now what they do, the invoice processing, everything, the process will be defined, and the software will do the work which is a human being does. So they will check whether purchase order details are correct, right? Whether payment, invoice value, everything is correct. Delivery or service has happened, done. Then release the process. It is through SAP, it will be connected, and then that process gets completed. So in effect, what is happening is, whatever a human being's work, gets completely replaced with robots. This is called robotic process automation. Trust me, this is going through a major wave. Whatever the base level job an accountant or a BBA guy used to do with respect to RPA, manually, is getting replaced with RPAs. Every leading companies in Bangalore, if you look at companies like Capgemini, Infosys, EY, TCS, Wipro, everyone is in the process of implementing RPA. So in times to come, the base level job which a BCom person does will get replaced with RPA. Why company do that? For company perspective, if you want to employ a person, you may have to hire 3 people if they want to do 24-hour shift, 3 shifts. If you have a proper RPA, it can run throughout, replacing 3 people. And one-time installation cost, implementation cost, then maintenance, it will take care of it with more accuracy. Humans can still make mistakes. This is with more accuracy and put some checks and controls. So this is a change which is happening. This is where I said you cannot be thinking like a conventional accountant. Okay, I have completed. Let me go and study GST. I'm not going against GST or Tally. Please don't feel that way. The world is moving. We have to catch up with that. After a point of time, there is no expert of GST is required. That also will get automated. You don't require an expert of GST to give a comment. There was a time where, the learning curve was required. Now what is happening is the change is happening with automation. So you have to think beyond what you were thinking till date. Until now, you are thinking, okay, I should study a Tally, I should be expert in Excel, I should be knowing good accountant, I should go for some practical accounts. All these things are good, but start thinking beyond it if you are ambitious to grow. That is an underlying statement. If you are ambitious to grow, if you want to get into some of the leading corporates, when I say, guys, I hail from Kerala. I did my college until 5 years in St. Albert's College. And then major, thankfully the major change, one thing which has happened is I went to Mumbai to do my CA. Okay. That is where, the major transformation happened to me. And then last 15 years, I'm settled in Bangalore as part of various corporates. So one thing I always, if that journey, if I look back, one very critical factor is I was taking the risk of moving to Mumbai. Okay. But in your case, my underlying point is start thinking, come out of your comfort zone, staying in your native place, studying here, there, that think beyond that. Can I explore the world? Okay. Can I go to a city like Bangalore, get into some good jobs? I'm saying about a person who is really ambitious to grow, from that perspective, because there is much beyond in what you see. There are enormous opportunities. I have seen the transformation of students over a period of time who moves out of their comfort zone, particularly, and travel to or coming to cities like Bangalore. Huge changes is happening. And then you can explore the world. Once we generally say, if you stay in Bangalore or Mumbai for 5-10 years, you can live in any part of the world because you will be getting yourself adapted to that. That's where, so if you look at from a conventional way, you will say that, okay, I want to become an accountant probably in Cochin, but when it comes to Bangalore, you are forced to update yourself to that level. But that is where the growth happens. I hope I'm with you, but please don't feel that I'm pushing, but I get very passionate when it comes to kids like because it's same profession. We are on the same field. So it is very important that I pass on the right messages. Okay. So this is something you should seriously think about it. Think of a city like Bangalore to come down, explore the world, try to learn more of the technological changes which is happening. All these things can help you out. Okay. So this was the first part of our discussion where we explained about what is industrial revolution. 1, 2, 3, 4, we explained. Under industrial revolution 4, I explained about what is, we are already part of it. The Swiggies or the Zomatos or the Ubers were the classic example. And then we moved specifically into industry 4.0. We explained with 3 letters, AIR. artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, and robotic process automation. Artificial intelligence, the example of Sophia, you remember, you will know that what is AI, okay, or the Amazon example. Internet of Things, the driverless car, Teslas, you remember that is IoT example. Robotic process automation, you could see, I was telling about the invoice processing in companies like Capgemini or EY Labs on, there are softwares like UiPath, some of the names you can remember, UiPath, Automation Anywhere, Blue Prism. These are some of the RPA software which is being widely used. Okay, so the change is happening. So that is about RPA. So AIR we explained. Now the question is how we adapt to this change. What all we need to do to adapt this change. So before that, I just want to show one more slide on how rapid pace the world is moving. Okay, don't feel that somebody coming morning and explain something. It is not the case. I want to show you something very interesting. Okay, this is something in Cbsc syllabus. Okay, Cbsc syllabus, around 883 schools from standard 8 started using AI or on an experiment basis, and it will be updated in your curriculum times to come, wherein they started exploring about AI. Okay, just listen to this.
Welcome to the Cbsc curriculum on artificial intelligence for class 8th and 9th, developed with support from Intel. This audio-visual will help you better understand and follow the facilitator handbook.
To take India forward in the journey of artificial intelligence, we recently decided that we must inculcate it as a curriculum. And we introduced it as a subject in our schools in the country. I'm very glad to share that 883 schools in the country have actually lapped up the idea and ensured that their children take up this as a part of their curriculum. We have begun teaching artificial intelligence as a subject in these 883 schools from grade 8 onwards. As a part of this process, in these 883 schools, 71,000 children are, as of today, learning the ropes.
So this is on a test basis. So, this is something in our Cbsc curriculum, 883 schools on test basis started. So we cannot be away from it. Okay, so the world is moving in a rapid pace, India in particular moving towards that. So it is important we ourselves adapt to this change. Okay, now this was the first part of our discussion. Now I come to the second part of our discussion, how we adapt to this change. It is important that changes we cannot change us. That is the only thing we cannot change it, right? It will be continuously changed. So how we adapt? See, whatever, there are two things, according to me, there are multiple wisdoms on it. But according to me, if you explore yourself with two things that can really help yourself to secure your career, okay? One is you need to become a finance professional. Okay, that is the way I put it across. Please, whenever I'm saying this, I give with a quote that this is relevant if you're ambitious to grow in your career. There is something called an average Indian dream, I keep saying. Okay, so what is average Indian dream? So if I ask, the students attending this session, what is the average Indian dream? They will say that, okay, I want to take care of my parents. I want to ensure that, I have a good career. I need to have a good house, maybe a good car, maybe some foreign travel if you're a little more ambitious. These are probably the average Indian dream. One could think of it. Now, when you look at from that angle, the conventional BCom standalone may not be sufficient. You need to start thinking about getting into a managerial shoes of finance or into director of finance. And over the time, that kind of thinking has to come. And if that has to come up, it is important that one of the parameters is attain a finance professional qualification. It can be anything. I will explain about, if I say Indian context, if I say courses like chartered accountancy or cost and management accountants India or company secretary, those are Indian context finance professional courses. But today, you need not really confine yourself only to, Indian finance professional courses, because there are a lot of opportunities, particularly in cities like Bangalore. I have seen a lot of finance professional courses have a lot of opportunities coming up. That is one part. I'll come more into it. Second is, you need to adapt yourself into a skill-based learning curve. The old days are gone. You need to adapt yourself with skill-based. That is what we were discussing about, AI or RPA. These are the skills, you need to attain that. That is something you need to change it. Now, coming to the first part, become a finance professional, professional. So when I say finance professional, when we say about finance professional, just give me a second. I don't know whether I have included that slide. Give me a second. Yeah, doesn't matter. So when I say finance professional, these are some of the finance professional programs which you could think beyond a chartered accountancy or a cost management accountant. There are programs like certified management accountant, short duration course, which can help you to become a professional in a short span with, good, because there is a good passing percentage and only 2 papers, you will be able to crack it faster pace. Why it is important to become professional? Because once you become professional, you are not confined to the base level jobs, which is getting wiped off by the RPAs today. So CMA US is one qualification. I'm saying from a Bangalore perspective. I do not know how much opportunities we have in our cities in Kerala, but a city like Bangalore have enormous opportunities once you qualify. So that is one thing. Then there are qualifications like CAA, Certified Internal Auditor. There are qualifications like ACCA. Recently, when I was controller of CenturyLink Technologies, one internal auditor came and I was discussing with him, and finally I came to know that he's not a chartered accountant, he is a ACCA qualified. Okay, I'm saying about companies like Deloitte, they recruit ACCA in large scale. Recently I was discussing with India hiring head of Deloitte again. So they were saying, you give us professional, doesn't matter whether it is CA, you give us CMAs, you give us CPA, you give us ACCA, we are good with it. We need professionally qualified people. So that is the change which is happening. So you need to start thinking about, okay, how I can become a finance professional. And trust me, these qualifications, another qualification, CPA, Certified Public Accountant, you'll be able to complete in a very short span of time. Won't take much time. So you should be start thinking about becoming a finance professional. That is one part I thought of explaining it. Then another thing is a skill-based learning curve, which I was mentioning. You need to update yourself with some skills. So in fact, we ourselves provide some programs like Certified Operational Accountant. It's called COPA. Now, and I'll just put it across for your just academic interest on it. So this is something, if you look at, there is workshop and accounting wherein the basics of accounting will be explained. Then there are something called ERP driven, SAP driven, you will be getting expert. P2P in an environment, P2P, R2R, O2C. These are some of the operational things which is very relevant. These are examples of skill. It is not confined only to this. What is relevant from an industry, I have just captured. Now, if you come here, foundation of artificial intelligence, basics of robotic process automation, basics of data analytics, all these things we confined into a program called COPA, so that once any person completed, they become expert, ready for the industry. Okay, so a combination of a professional qualification with a skill-based, programs like this. Once you complete, you become really industry ready, and you have all your journey set across for future. Yeah. So this is what so the first part of our discussion, we discussed about AIR, artificial intelligence, IoT, and robotic process automation, the changes which is happening in industry. And the second part of it, how we need to adapt or change ourselves. I explained about becoming a professional, programs like CMA, CPA, CAA, which is not as risky as Indian finance professional courses. You will be able to complete it comfortably, and think concurrently some of the skill-based programs like COPA from MyLogic, wherein you will be able to complete it comfortably. At the same time, you will be getting that skill level what is required. Now we come to the last part of our discussion, wherein I just give a brief about MyLogic, what exactly we do. So we are an edtech company based out of Bangalore, having branches in Mumbai and Malaysia, and students pursuing our programs from across the world. We have students from US, from Middle East, good number of students, Europe, different parts of the world. We have good number of students pursuing these programs. These are the programs at this moment we are providing. You'll see that CPA, CMA, ACCA, any finance professional programs through an EdTech platform. I've shown you earlier our platform, the features of it. You'll have the live classes also happens, the recordings comes in, everything will be featured. So that is one thing. We are one of the platinum partners of IMA. So that is one thing, advantage feature. It's a very, very unique recognition. We are also silver partner of ACCA. So these are all very prestigious recognition. Then various courses which I have mentioned provided. See, our academic model, including from starting from base to getting into placement, we provide support that is very, very unique. Thankfully, in being in Bangalore, it helps in placement in enormous way. Good results for various programs, excellent results being maintained, thankfully. And this is very interesting. This is a program which I was mentioning about COPA. Just 10 days back, almost around 10 to 15 students place. I captured some testimonials of it. You could find enormous number of students getting placed in companies like Infosys, Accenture, and so on. Wipro is another company. Huge requirement. Today as we stand, I get a requirement from Pune Delivery Center of Infosys. There is around 300 qualified accountants. The skill what we provide is required for next 3 months. I'm saying about next quarter. Within just 1 week, 1 quarter, that is next 3 months, we require 300 students for this COPA program, who will be interviewed at Infosys. That is a kind of, assessment and interview. So that is the kind of demand with which we are going for the skill-based knowledge what you attain. Okay, I just put it across for this just last week progress. So that's why I just put it. Then there are a lot of companies in Bangalore, place Goldman Sachs, KPMG, Ford Motors, if you have heard, Lenovo Computers, London Stock Exchange. All these students are who are students placed in Bangalore. So that's why I keep highlighting, come out of your comfort zone, come to Bangalore, explore, grow. I keep saying that. These are few of the great brands, with whom we are associated. And I think that is what I thought of conveying. So to summarize our discussion, we discussed about industrial revolutions, which is happening. 1, 2, 3, we are on the 4th. We discussed about 4th industrial revolution and the impact on finance professionals. So that is where we discussed about artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, and robotic process automation. The changes, what is happening. See, there are enormous changes which is happening, but within 45 minutes, I could give you at a high level what is most relevant. That is why I highlighted on AIR, which is very, very relevant. Data analytics is another thing, which is particularly financial data analytics is very rapidly progressing. So we discussed on that and how it is impacting corporates, changes happening, I explained. Then we discussed what is the way forward for you to survive on this change. You need to become a professional if you are ambitious. Also, you need to start looking about skill-based scenarios. That is something you should be exploring it. That is another thing. And finally, I just given a brief about what exactly we do and our EdTech company. See, our website, you can just note this. It may be difficult to catch on mobile number, but you can WhatsApp me always. You can email me on this. You can take a screenshot or take a picture of it. I'll be passing on the website email ID. You can note it, mylogicvideos.com. Any more inputs required on any of the areas we discussed, we'll be more than happy to support and give you all insights onto it. Kindly take a pic of this. That helps you all. You can always read it. It is better to WhatsApp me so that I can promptly mention. You can mention that I was part of Bharat Mata webinar. So that gives me I take a lot of seminars across India. So that helps me out. So that's what I thought of conveying. I think we are more or less on time. 45 minutes was the time allotted. If you have any questions, happy to address. Radish sir, I hope I could give some insights about the changes in technology.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Now it's the time for the students. If you have any queries, any doubts to Vinod sir, you can ask.
So may I?
Please.
Okay. So earlier in the seminar,
Hello. Your voice is breaking. You want to type the question?
okay. So earlier in the seminar, you mentioned about the Internet of Things, and basically you said that every action of yours is connected through a single thread, essentially. So this got me thinking into how whether if this is too invasive in terms of privacy and safety.
Correct.
With
Correct.
that regard.
No, I think it's a brilliant question, because you nailed it, because with this technological changes happening, you can be on mute. Yeah, with this changes happening, that is something which is very relevant, because even today, the kind of just to give you a very simple example, if you are using credit cards and internet things were happening, you are hearing huge amount of frauds, banking frauds, which is happening, including the leading banks. It's a very simple example of it. So when you are connected with IoT related in large space, definitely there people try to take advantage of it, which is also something part of it. In fact, to that extent, there are I was discussing with a head of IBM recently in Bangalore, wherein they provide something called data security or cyber security courses in various colleges in a large scale, to maybe to create that awareness. So this is something, Tarun, we cannot move away with it, but what we need to do is how we adapt to those threats, and over the time we will come up with that changes as well. So even when it comes to AI, the robots example, generally one question generally comes as, you have seen Sophia, whether it is, in fact, it was a question asked to Sophia, whether Sophia is a threat to human mankind, so because you have seen the movies like Shankar's movie, that Robo 2 and Robo 1 and all. A robot can literally, it can do anything. It is all about the programming, right? So today's war, when you discuss about the next generation wars, it is not driven by the conventional war. It is more of a bio wars and the robot driven wars. You can do a mass destruction with the programming, what you could do it. So that is something, it was a question asked. So to answer you specific, yes, that is a threat. At the same time, we will come adapted to that with our experience over the time. Probably some of you would have seen also recently, even Amazon, whatever Amazon, the delivery, somebody hacked, and they come up with a back end, they were manipulating. Okay, finally Amazon caught it, and they recorded that fraud instance also. Probably it was circulating in WhatsApp. So yeah, it is part of the journey, and definitely we will come up with more iterations, and we'll update ourselves into it. I hope I answered.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions from students? I think that's all.
Any
There's
other questions? Feel free. If not, even otherwise, you have my email ID. You can mail me, WhatsApp me anytime. We'll be happy to address back.
Okay, sir. Now it's the time for our delivering vote of thanks. On behalf of Bharat Mata College, I'm expressing my sincere gratitude to Mr. Vinod Chandran, CA. Spend the time last 1 hour with the students of Bharat Mata, especially BCom computer application and other departments, and enrich us with the latest technologies, especially artificial intelligence, robotics, and what may be the future of graduates, especially in their profession. Thank you very much, sir, for spending time with us and enriching us with the latest information about the industrial needs for the future. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much, everyone.
Okay. Also express our sincere gratitude to our management, Father Abraham Uliaprath, Assistant Manager, our Principal Dr. Saini Palati, Vice Principal, HOD, and all the students who are gathered here, all faculty members who coordinated the programs and those who are attending from other departments and other colleges. Thank you all for participating. And I hope that this will be a beginning and we will have a lot of, coming MOUs or maybe coming sessions and programs with the MyLogic, so that students can reach their heights and they can find out their dream opportunity across the world. And thank you all for once again organizing team members, especially our Matthew Varghese, career advisor. Thank you, Matthew. Let's stop today's session for coming sessions, and hope that every month if we can organize such a programs, maybe here inside Kerala, inside Bharat Mata, or perhaps outside Bharat Mata, maybe at Bangalore, or maybe even outside India.
We are welcoming you, sir.
Okay. Thank you all. Thank you,
So, all the very best, students. Do well wherever you are. Do well. Give your best. Be passionate. Dream high, and success will be yours. All the very best. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you all. And we'll be getting your certificate through email later. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Vinod sir, I will contact you later.
Sure, sir. Always welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.